Hey everyone, my name is Etchy Boy, and today we're going to be taking a first look at Phantasy Star Online 2. Hope you guys are really excited. I have been a fan of these games for years now, dating back until the Dreamcast days. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you didn't know, recently the Southeast Asian version of this game has released its region block. What does this mean to us? Well, it basically means that if you're at all ever interested in taking a look at PSO2, now is your chance to get in and play the game. It has an English patch, it runs smoothly, and as you guys have noticed over the last couple of years that we haven't gotten any news about a US release date or even an EU release date. So most likely this will be your one and only chance to get in and take a look at the game. But then again, we didn't have any news about Blade and Soul, and now it's coming out in the fall. So hey, hope's always there, right? So when you first start up the game and make it past the lengthy yet exciting intro, you're introduced to the character creator, where you have the normal humans, the magic heavy Newman, and the powerhouse cast. But unexpectedly, you also have this new class called the Doommen. They're kind of, they do a lot more damage, I guess they're saying, but they don't have as much toughness as, you know, the all-around humans have. I wanted to go with these guys, but I couldn't get over the fact that their horn looked like a so instead I decided to go with the usual being the, you know, human male transgender stripper. So for classes there are Hunter, Ranger, Wizard, and the new Samurai class. Of course I had to go with this new Samurai class because, I mean, come on. How badass is a class named Samurai? Unlike the Hunter that's all about his close quarter combat and can give it just as hard as he can take it, the Samurai is a little bit more squishy than that, and he's all about that quick hitting attacks when it comes to close quarters with his katana. Now, your katana really takes a little bit to get used to because it's all about timing in this game to be able to use your combos, and the katana attacks a lot faster than most other weapons do attack. So basically when you do your when you start off attacking, you're going to hit your attack, and then you're going to have to wait until a red circle appears around you, and then that's when you can continue your attack. This took me a while and to get used to, and I'm still honestly getting used to this game and getting used to the combinations. On the other hand, when it comes to ranged weapons like your bow or a pistol, for example, you can switch into two forms of aiming. You can do the more of the right behind your shoulder shooter type gameplay, which is a lot of fun, or you can just do it from, you know, over your head, normal third person RPG type style. And if you're focusing strictly on ranged weapons, like with the Ranger, for example, that's more of a shooter, I would just do the over-the-shoulder view because it gives you more accuracy. And since this game doesn't have a hard lock function, it's a lot better to just be in there and be able to attack the guy that's like right in front of you. Which brings me into another point. This game has full controller support, but if you are playing more of a Ranger, I would just go with keyboard and mouse, because as any person who plays shooters will tell you, you can't beat a keyboard and mouse when it comes to accuracy in a shooter. PC Master Race. Anyway, I've only spent about 6 or 7 hours in this game, honestly, so I won't be able to give a full detailed judgment about what this game has to offer, but I will be able to tell you guys what really stood out for me. For one, I love the acting and abundance of voiceovers. I've always been a more subbed over dubbed guy myself. I mean, with a name like Edgy, I hope you guys knew that I was somewhat aware of anime. Anyway, so I did like the acting in this game, and you know, you have your normal tsundere all the way until your silver hair badasses. So they cover the entire anime spectrum in this. You're gonna get all your characters in this one. But one of the things that I didn't really like about it was that the dialogue boxes in English seem to be really small. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the dialogue boxes had a font size of 8 or less even. So, you know, if you have bad eyesight or you're nearsighted, you're going to have trouble kind of seeing some of the dialogue boxes when you're playing in English. Unless you know Japanese, and then you're all covered, and you're probably already playing this game anyway. If you never checked out a Phantasy Star game before and didn't know, this is an action MMO. Basically what this boils down to is that you're going to have your main hub world, and then you're going to have the instance area and the dungeon area. Think of this game as something like a Destiny, for example, by Bungie. When you first start out in the game, you're going to have that main area that you can go in and start fighting mobs. But as you go along and venture more, you're going to be able to unlock the entire map, in which case you'll be able to do whatever you want in there. There is, instead of a tagging system in this game, there's more of an area system. So for example, if something dies around you, you don't have to actually tag it to get experience and loot from it. Think of something as like support in League of Legends. That's my best example for it. One of the things that I can say is that this game really covers some of the pitfalls that action MMOs have had forever, and that's community. When you play an action MMO, the reason why people kind of get discouraged when they hear that word is because action MMOs always seem to block off and make you seem like there's no one else playing the game besides yourself. Even if you join an action MMO with other friends, it always seems like you end up alone, because I mean, not everybody's going to play at the same time all the time. What this game does to combat this is that, say for example, you are one of those guys that likes to play alone, but just because you like to play alone doesn't mean that you don't want to see other players around in your area. You just don't want them to interrupt your own personal story, and this game has a great story. I am one of those guys myself. So if you're one of those people like me, then you can go into a instance by yourself and you can just invite the NPCs there. The NPCs all have their own kind of personalities, and you're able to party with them, and they actually aren't that retarded, so you're able to take down some mobs, some pretty high level mobs, just with your party members being NPCs. They're always communicating with you both vocally and in text box, so it's easy to keep up with the conversation and see what everybody's thinking about that situation, because as you go in and adventure in a certain mission, different things will pop up. Sometimes I think it's better to go in with NPCs rather than other players. But say you're one of those people that likes to play with a certain amount of friends, you can enter an instance just with your friends, or you can just enter an instance and have it open to the public and just run into people like you would normally in any other MMO. And I really have to say I love this part about the game. And I wish that more action MMOs did it. And this is just a small example of what makes this game one of my all-time favorite series. But, you know, this is just a first impressions video, and this video has run its course for far too long as it is already. So let me know what you guys think down below. Yes, this game is slightly a few years old and it is starting to look dated, but that also means that you're not going to run into those first day glitches and bugs like you normally do. And the controls are tight for both mouse and keyboard and controller. Also, it runs at a solid 60 frames per second. Hey, can't go wrong if you are a fan of this series or like action MMOs. Let me know if you guys will be checking it out, or if you're holding out for, you know, that destined day when we will see a US release. Hey, keep the hope alive. Those guys that are holding out, you are the chosen few. My name is Etchy, and until next time, I will see you all in game.